Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack one of the most fascinating cultural collisions in literature. I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine being an independent, highly educated young woman living in a modern, buzzing metropolis. Then, suddenly, literally overnight, you are transplanted into an ancient, aristocratic world where your face has to be hidden and your voice completely silenced. It's a massive culture shock, right? Well, that is the exact clash between modern city life and ancient aristocratic rules in post-independence India that we're exploring today through Rama Metha's classic novel, Inside the Haveli.
Okay, let's dive into this. To make sure we get the most out of our focused learning journey today, we're going to systematically break this down. We'll start with the context, move into the culture shock, map out the key characters, deconstruct the themes and symbols, and finally, look at a gradual revolution.
Section 1. The context. Setting the stage. So, our story is set in post-independence Udaipura, Rajasthan. This was a wild time because you had cities rapidly modernizing on one hand, while on the other, ancient aristocratic families were stubbornly clinging to the past. The book was published in 1977, but 1979 is the year of the author, Rama Metha, actually won the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for it. And what makes this so powerful is that Metha wasn't just a novelist, she was a highly respected Indian sociologist. She brought this unflinching, authentic social realism to feminist fiction, perfectly documenting a society in deep transition.
Section 2. Culture Shock. Entering the Haveli.
And it brilliantly illustrates the central conflict of the story. It's entirely driven by our protagonist, Geeta. On one side, you have her upbringing in Bombay, which we now know as Mumbai. It's liberal, she's educated, she's fiercely independent. But then she marries her husband, Ajay, and suddenly she's relocated to the Udaipur Haveli. This new reality is deeply traditional. It strictly enforces purdah, and it's intensely hierarchical. Geeta is suddenly caught in a world where women, even perfectly capable ones, are entirely denied their freedom.
Just listen to the rules imposed on her from the very second she arrives. She must observe purdah, she must cover her face before elders, she must follow strict family traditions, she must stay almost entirely within the walls of the Haveli, and above all, she must accept the unquestioning authority of the elders. It is a sudden, suffocating list of demands. You can just feel Geeta's overwhelming loneliness, her intense frustration, and the sheer panic of being completely trapped by these rigid, unexpected expectations.
So the crucial point is how Geeta responds to this trap, because it is absolutely brilliant. Most modern protagonists might just launch into aggressive, open rebellion, but Geeta, she consciously pivots. She realizes that to survive, she can't just fight blindly, she has to study. She begins to deeply observe the family's traditions. And what she discovers is wild. These customs, while totally limiting to women's independence, actually provide a pretty remarkable framework of social stability and mutual support.
Section 3. Key characters, the ecosystem.
To really get the Haveli, we can't just look at its inhabitants as people. We have to see them as vital representations of different facets of a society in transition. Geeta, our protagonist, clearly symbolizes modernity and reform. But look at how she connects to the others. Her husband Ajay is educated, sure, but he remains deeply attached to his family's traditions. Then there's Bhagwat Singh Ji, the head of the Haveli. He's the ultimate conservative patriarch, but, and this is key, he is eventually open to positive change. Finally, down the hierarchy, we have Pari, the loyal maidservant representing devotion and the profound emotional bonds tying everyone together. Geeta acts as this human bridge, connecting all these contrasting figures, navigating from the patriarch all the way down to the servants.
Section 4. Themes and symbols. Underlying meanings.
Okay, we're going to dig into the powerful literary devices that make this novel a staple for sociology and literature students alike. First up is the Haveli itself. Obviously, it's the ultimate symbol of traditional Indian society, but Metha forces us to unpack its surprising dual nature. Yes, its massive stone walls represent restrictions and confinement, but as Geeta studies her new home, she uncovers the other side of the coin. Those same walls offer protection. They represent continuity, cultural heritage, and a close-knit community of mutual support.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is purdah, the practice of women hiding their bodies and faces. Because purdah isn't just a physical veil here. It functions as a deep psychological barrier. It's a symbol of women's social confinement for sure, but it also represents the broader, invisible limitations imposed on a woman's fundamental identity by entrenched patriarchal traditions. It's literally the physical manifestation of being silenced.
But contrasting the Haveli and purdah is our third major symbol, education. In Metha's work, education is portrayed as the ultimate key to personal empowerment. It symbolizes freedom, it builds confidence, and it represents the only true hope for future generations. Education is the exact tool Gita uses to preserve her individuality while still fulfilling those heavy family responsibilities. It is the catalyst for meaningful social transformation.
Section 5. A gradual revolution. The synthesis. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this is where the novel presents its unique take on moderate feminism. Empowerment here is achieved through empathy within existing social structures. Gita's evolution is incredibly strategic. Step 1. She starts in a place of deep frustration and isolation. Step 2. She channels that energy into studying the traditions. Step 3. By showing respect, she earns the deep trust of the family. And Step 4. Now possessing that trust, she begins introducing gradual reforms, notably championing girls' education. She goes from a trapped outsider to the respected mistress of the Haveli.
The idea that freedom and responsibility must coexist perfectly captures her strategy. Gita successfully reshapes the Haveli from within, precisely because she balances her modern desire for progress with a profound respect for family values. She proves that empowerment doesn't always have to look like blowing up the system. Meaningful reform often comes slowly, through immense patience and leadership.
And that brings us to Rama Metha's core message: tradition should evolve rather than disappear. This is the ultimate takeaway here. Real, lasting social progress isn't about erasing the past. It is achieved by preserving the valuable parts of our heritage, the community, the mutual support, those deep emotional bonds, while simultaneously making space for equality and necessary reform.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to challenge you with a final, provocative thought. Think about your own life. Inside the Haveli isn't just the story of one woman, it's a blueprint for navigating change. In our constant, breathless rush to modernize, what valuable traditions, what sources of community and protection are we blindly leaving behind? It's a question definitely worth asking yourself today. Thanks for hanging out and exploring.